Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is that Mr. Steve Jobs wouldn't care of even worse. So I'm going to tell you the title again. So the title is Steve Jobs wouldn't care of even worse. So about which I'd like to tell you some stories. And so first of all, so I'm recording this episode on the end of February in 2022. So I'm recording or I'm creating this episode on the in the end of February not in the end of February in 2022 or 2022. So in this time there are fightings. So there is a war or there are fightings between Ukraine and Russia. So anyway, maybe most of you or most of the listeners of this podcast know that there are conflicts or there is a war between Russia and Ukraine. But actually, so and maybe most of you have seen many protests or many people protesting or many people are speaking out against the provocations of such a war, and they blame the President Vladimir Putin for provoking or starting the war between Ukraine and Russia. So anyway, so the situation the situation we are in is such a situation like there's a war between so we should understand that there is a war between Russia and one of the countries next to or adjacent to Russia. So let me tell you again. So I couldn't explain well. So we should understand that there is a war between so of course it's correct. It's what I have just told you is a correct information, because there is a war between Ukraine and Russia, which is true. But actually, so we should understand, or we should understand, and we should realize that Russian Federation is really a huge country, and so geographically speaking, Russia is really a huge country, which is why. So I live in an Eastern Asian, or I live in an East Asian country, and so the country is named Japan. So I live in Japan, or I live in an East Asian country. Please memorize. So I live that Richard Gon lives in a East Asian country, and my country is next to Russia, and my country is located to the southeast of Russia, which is why Russia is one of the next door countries. Russia is one of the neighborhood countries of my country, which is why. So the war between the war which is happening or which is taking place between Ukraine and Russia. It's not completely different or completely having no relation with my country. So I can feel that I understand that the war taking place between Ukraine and Russia has many things to do with my country, which is my understanding, and I personally think that Ukraine and the war which is taking place or which is an ongoing event between Ukraine and Russia is partly or entirely related to my country or my life, which is my understanding. Anyway, so let me come back to the title, or let me come back to the original topic of this episode. So the title says Steve Jobs wouldn't care wouldn't care of even words. Steve Jobs. The title is Steve Jobs wouldn't care of even words. But actually, so which means maybe I don't have to explain to you things about Steve Jobs. Maybe considering the fact that most of the listeners of my podcast are American people. So which is why you are supposed to know more than I do about you are supposed to know Steve Jobs more than I do. But anyway, so one of the remarkable events about Steve Jobs is, for example, he had laid off in an elevator or in a lift. So which means what I heard is that Steve Jobs and an employee happened to be in a carriage of an elevator or in an elevator and in which Mr. Steve Jobs asked the employee what's the job that the employee did. So let me tell you again. So there is an elevator, and Steve Jobs and an employee happened to be in that elevator, and Steve Jobs talked to that employee, and Steve Jobs asked, and in that conversation, Mr. Steve Jobs asked that employee, and what was the work of that employee, or what did he do as his or her job, and the employee couldn't answer well to Mr. Steve Jobs, which is why Steve Jobs fired, or Steve Jobs laid off that employee, which is one of the remarkable events, or which is one of the standing out events related to Mr. Steve Jobs. So anyway, so like which Steve Jobs has a lot. Steve Jobs had a lot of remarkable or standing out events. Like, he had been fired, or he had been kicked out of his own company. He founded. Anyway, so, but maybe most of you know that Mr. Steve Jobs is unconventional, but actually, so, which is why, in this present time, there is a war between Ukraine and Russia. I don't know which country you live in. So where you live in might be next to, or adjacent to Russian Federation, for example. So if you live in Baltic countries, or if you live in, for example, Belarus. So if you live in such countries, your country is next to Russia, or your country is, so Russia is one of the next doors of your country. Anyway, so if you even if you are in such a situation, if you'd like to succeed in the course of your life, or in the course of your lives, so you have to concentrate on your work, so or on what you are doing, even though there are wars between Ukraine and Russia. So let me tell you again. So what I have just told you, what I have just told you is what I would like to know in this episode. So the conclusion is, even though there is a war between Ukraine and Russia, even though there can be some wars between Ukraine and Russia, or some fightings between Ukraine and Russia, so you have to concentrate on your works, or you have to concentrate on what you have to do, or if you have to concentrate on what you are doing in the course of your lives, or so if you do some important works, you have to concentrate on that works, or that work, or those works, no matter what kind of wars have happened, or taking place between Ukraine and Russia. So which is what I'd like you to know this time. So so there is a war. I used words between Ukraine and Russia as an example, but actually, no matter what happens, you have to concentrate on your works, which is how you. So at least that is a necessary condition to succeed. So I don't know whether you are going you can succeed, or I don't know whether you are going to succeed even though you fully concentrate on, or even though you fully focus on the works you are doing. But actually, so at least without concentrating on, or without focusing on your works fully enough, you cannot succeed in the course of your life. So if you'd like to succeed, or if you'd like to become a successful person like Mr. Steve Jobs, so you have to concentrate on or you have to focus on what you have to do, or what you are going to what you have to do, or what you are doing as your own occupations, or as your works, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So I used words as I used a word as an instance for explaining what you have to do. But actually, this is a case to the pandemic of COVID-19 and other disasters which may happen to you in the future. But actually, so what you have to do is to concentrate on your works, no matter what happens to you, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So if you that is what you have to do if you'd like to become a successful person like Mr. Steve Jobs is. So at last, I said that you have to focus on your own works, or you have to focus on your jobs if you'd like to succeed. But actually, for example, if you live in a workplace, or if, for example, if you in this time, if you live in, for example, so Luganskaya Oblast, for example, so you should live away from dangerous places at first. Then after living away from dangerous places, it's fine to focus on your works, because so concerning the situations that war occurred between Ukraine and Russia. So anyway, so becoming a successful person is really, so becoming a successful person can be important for your life. Becoming a successful person is important for your life. But actually, so to become a successful person alive, you have to get away from dangerous places. Please make sure this. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.